Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to get those potent insights, distilled from a whole stack of sources, giving you that shortcut to, really being informed. Today, we are plunging into a really transformative work. It's Can't Hurt Me, A Mind Transformed by Suffering by David Goggins. And look, this isn't just another book. It's part memoir, part self-development guide, and it's packed with these 10 specific challenges, really designed to push you way beyond what you think your limits are. Our mission today, to unpack Goggins' incredible journey, really from nothing to something. We want to understand his philosophy. It's raw, it's unfiltered, and pull out the key takeaways that really challenge our own ideas about mental toughness, pain, and, potential.
Yeah, what's really fascinating here is how Goggins just doesn't do motivational fluff. There's none of that. He lays out this life just forged in immense pain, and he shows a path of mental transformation that basically asks, demands that we confront our own comfort zones. We're going to explore how he went from, being 300 pounds, literally spraying for cockroaches, to becoming a Navy SEAL, a world-class endurance athlete. And it all started by asking himself again and again this one crucial question. What am I capable of?
Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's see what truths Goggins holds up to the light, maybe truths for all of us. He kicks off his story by just laying his beginnings completely bare. You hear about these incredible transformations, right? But few seem to start from such a difficult place. So what was his backstory he keeps referring to?
Well, his childhood, it was just marked by severe abuse. His father beating his mother mercilessly. He lived in poverty, faced intense racism in rural Indiana. In school, he struggled hugely, learning disabilities, bullied. He felt, in his words, mentally shattered. But the key message there, and it's powerful, is that while we all have a backstory, things we could blame.
Right. Excuses.
Exactly. Or bad cards, as he puts it. It doesn't have to define who you are now. And his challenge, #1, is right there. Write down all those past bad cards, everything you blame for where you are now, then accept them. And then ask, okay, what now?
That's a really confronting start, taking ownership right away. And then after acknowledging that past, he turns the focus inward. This concept of truth hurts seems really pivotal. What did he actually see when he looked in the mirror? And crucially, what did he decide to do about it?
He basically describes himself as overweight, lazy, broke, hopeless, just completely blunt. And he made this conscious decision, a hard one, to change by just telling himself the absolute truth. No sugarcoating. And this led to his whole accountability mirror idea. He genuinely believes you have to stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eye, and speak the truth about your flaws.
Yeah.
Then you write these brutal sticky notes about what you need to fix and stick them right on the mirror. That's challenge #2. Use that mirror daily. Talk honestly. List the flaws. List the goals.
Wow. Brutal honesty.
His core idea was simple. Stark even. I had to stop being a victim and start being accountable, period.
Okay, so you've got the past acknowledged, the present confronted with brutal honesty. This then leads him toward what seems like an absolutely impossible task. He wants to become a Navy SEAL, but he's got, 3 months to lose over 100 pounds? That sounds clinically insane.
It does. It sounds completely impossible by any normal standard. And
Yeah.
his approach, it was just as extreme. Insane workouts multiple times a day, severely restricted food. He was training constantly, always in pain. Yeah. And his key message really emerged here. Discipline starts with making one hard choice. Then you make another one right after it. He states it so clearly. Suffering is the only way to grow. He really asserts that the impossible only becomes possible when you push through relentless suffering.
That's intense.
And challenge #3 follows directly from that. Create a schedule, eliminate all the wasted time, take absolute control of your day, no excuses.
And then comes SEAL training itself. You hear stories about Hell Week, right? Most people just think it's survive. Just get through it.
Yeah.
But Goggins had this different strategy, something he called taking souls. What on earth does that mean?
Okay, so instead of just hanging on, just surviving Hell Week like everyone else, he did the opposite. He intentionally worked harder. When everyone else was fading, he pushed more. His aim was, quite literally, to break the spirit of the instructors, break the spirit of the other trainees around him.
Like their spirit.
Yeah. He found strength through that suffering by pushing when others couldn't. He used their doubt, their fatigue, as fuel for himself. The idea is, you outperform them so drastically, so undeniably, that they feel broken watching you. That, for him, is taking their soul.
Wow. That's aggressive.
It is. And challenge #4 reflects that, he says. Identify a situation where people doubt you, where they expect you to fail, and then outperform them so massively they just can't deny you anymore.
You can definitely see how that would forge extreme mental toughness.
Mm.
But it's not just physical, right? Goggins really emphasizes building an armored mind. What kind of challenges necessitated that? And how did he actually cultivate it?
Oh, absolutely. Beyond the physical, he faced constant grinding adversity, persistent racism, numerous injuries, intense fear, especially during things like underwater tests and SEAL training. He built that armored mind, as he calls it, by deliberately going into the pain, into the fear, rather than trying to avoid it or numb it.
Going into it.
Exactly. He sees toughness as something you build, like a muscle, through controlled suffering. Pain becomes your training ground. It's not the enemy you run from. And it raises a really important question for you listening right now. How would you prepare for a storm before it hits? How do you build that resilience in advance? Challenge, #5 is about that. Visualize the worst possible pain, the worst scenario, and mentally rehearse exactly how you'll respond. Prepare your mind.
It's like preemptive resilience training. Okay. And when he's in the thick of it, like in those brutal ultra races, pushing past what seems humanly possible, he talks about this mental tool.
The cookie jar.
What is that? How did that help him?
The cookie jar. Yeah, it's a fantastic concept. It's basically a mental treasure chest. Inside, you store all your past wins, every single time you overcame something difficult, every moment you showed strength or resilience.
So like a highlight reel of your own toughness.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So when he was in those grueling ultra races, maybe miles deep, body breaking down, feeling like quitting, he'd mentally reach into that cookie jar. He'd remember the racism he survived, the abuse, being obese, failing BUDS the first time, all the incredibly hard things he'd already pushed through.
Okay.
And that memory, that proof of past resilience, gave him the fuel, the strength to keep pushing. It reminded him, look what I've already overcome. This is hard, but I've done harder.
That makes so much sense.
And challenge #6 is exactly that. Physically write down maybe 10 past wins or moments you were incredibly strong, times you overcame, and consciously use them as fuel when things get tough now.
Like weaponizing your own history of overcoming. Brilliant. It's no wonder then, really, that Goggins claims his mind, not his physical body, was his most powerful weapon. I mean, he talks about finishing a 100-mile race with broken bones in his feet, bleeding, vomiting, yet he refused to stop. What's the core insight there?
Yeah, that story is legendary, and he says it so clearly. I knew my body was shot, but my mind was just getting started. It perfectly highlights his core belief. You don't necessarily need more talent, more genetic gifts. What you need is more grit, more mental toughness. Your mind, he argues forcefully, is your single most powerful weapon. It's capable of pushing your body far, far beyond where it thinks it can go.
So the limitation isn't usually physical.
It's mental, almost always, according to Goggins. And challenge #7 ties right into sharpening that weapon. Do something uncomfortable every single day, something you don't want to do, to constantly sharpen your mind.
He even titles a chapter Talent Not Required, which, let's be honest, flies in the face of so much conventional thinking, right? We're often told talent is key. How did Goggins actually prove this wasn't the case for him?
He's brutally honest about it. He readily admits he wasn't naturally smart, he wasn't a gifted athlete, he didn't have innate advantages. His success, he claims, came from one thing. He simply outworked everyone. Full stop.
Just
Sheer obsessive effort. His message is crystal clear. Success isn't primarily about talent. It's about obsession. It's about consistency. It's about being willing to do what sucks day after day after day.
And what sucks.
Yeah. If you connect that to the bigger picture, it's about the power of relentless effort overcoming any perceived lack of natural ability. And challenge #8 is designed to show you where your effort isn't going, he says. Track every single hour of your day for a week. Be honest. Measure how much time you actually waste.
Ouch. That one might hurt for a lot of us.
It's meant to. It's that accountability again.
Okay, so here comes a SEAL, an ultra runner, elite status achieved, right? But even then, he wasn't satisfied. He talks about wanting to be uncommon amongst uncommon. What does that even imply about his drive? It seems endless.
It really does. And uncommon amongst uncommon, it means not just meeting the highest standard, but absolutely destroying it. Just being great, even among other Navy SEALs or elite athletes, wasn't enough for him. He wanted his effort to be legendary. He needed to push beyond where even the best were willing to stop.
So it's an internal benchmark, not just external comparison.
Totally internal. It's about pushing your own perceived limits constantly, regardless of what others are doing. And challenge #9 reflects this. Go beyond your perceived best. When you think you're done, add extra effort. Do more where others would normally stop.
That's a demanding philosophy. And finally, something most of us view as purely negative, a weakness, Goggins calls the empowerment of failure. How does he manage to reframe failure so positively?
It's crucial to his whole mindset. Look, he failed numerous times, big failures. Failed academic tests, failed races. He even failed aspects of SEAL training initially. But he argues he learned far more from those failures than he ever did from his successes.
Interesting.
His key message is, failure isn't defeat, it's data, it's information. You use it to get better, to adjust your approach. He even suggests you should chase failure sometimes. Push yourself to the point where you might fail because that's where the real growth happens.
Embrace it, don't fear it.
Exactly. And challenge #10 is about mining that data. Make a list of your significant failures. Then, for each one, identify honestly what it taught you. What lesson did you extract?
That's a powerful way to look back. So Goggins wraps up the book with this really potent chapter, asking simply, what if? What's the big question he's leaving us to ponder?
He really turns it back on himself, and by extension, on the reader. He asks, what if I had stayed fat? What if I had stayed afraid? What if I had never even tried? He emphasizes that that question, what if, is the one that haunts most people at the end of their lives. Regret over inaction.
Yeah.
And his final message, his admonition, is incredibly clear. Don't die wondering. Don't die with potential still left inside you.
Wow. Powerful stuff.
So if we try to boil it all down, connect it to the bigger picture, Goggins's core life philosophy seems to rest on a few really powerful ideas. Pain unlocks power. Suffering is actually a test. It's not a punishment. You are far, far more capable than your mind usually tells you.
Right, that limiting voice.
Exactly. And comfort. Comfort, he argues, is the real enemy. It keeps you stagnant.
Okay.
And maybe most importantly, discipline. Consistent discipline will always, always outweigh waiting for motivation to strike.
Yeah, you can really see why Can't Hurt Me hit so hard for so many people after this dive. It really speaks to anyone feeling stuck, maybe stuck in excuses, anyone actively looking to build serious mental toughness. Or maybe people coming from tough backgrounds, traumatic pasts, trying to forge a completely new path. Doesn't matter if you're creative, an athlete, a student, entrepreneur. The insights Goggins shares, they're designed to challenge your limits, fundamentally, to make you ask that what-if question for yourself. So for you, listening to this deep dive right now, here's maybe a provocative thought to explore on your own, building on what we've discussed. If comfort truly is the enemy, as Goggins contends, what's one area in your life, just one, where you've maybe chosen comfort consciously or unconsciously over your potential? And maybe more importantly, what's just one uncomfortable step, maybe even a small one, you could take today to challenge that? Just think about it.